What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here with your $1,400 third stimulus check update. We have some breaking information from House Speaker Nancy Pelosi on the third stimulus check package, the timeline, when we could expect it to arrive, how fast they're working on it, what are the details on it. We got a lot of information for you guys here in this press conference from Nancy Pelosi, which I'm going to show you directly. And then if we have time, we'll talk about it. I will have another video tonight at 11 p.m. Eastern Time, which is 8 p.m. West Coast time, so don't miss out on that one. And at the end of this video, I'll give you an update on how my doctor's appointment went. Yeah, it's been a long day. All right, here we go. Let's jump into House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's press conference.
Good morning, everyone. It's quite a week, I'm so proud of our members who are busy at work, especially our chairman, organizing their committees to get ready for our bill that we anticipate will become law as soon as possible. The American Rescue Plan put forth by President Biden as part of how we meet the needs of the American people. The pandemic and the economic crisis that go with it continues to be devastating to the American people. This legislation is necessary, but don't take my word for it. Yesterday, the chairman of the Federal Reserve stated that the real unemployment rate is 10%. Matching the worst point in the Great Recession. In his speech, he said for recovery, fiscal policy is an essential tool for this situation. He referenced that monetary policy would not be enough. Chairman Powell played down the fears of inflation during the pandemic and noted that, in his words, inflation has been much lower and more stable over the past 3 decades than in earlier times, and that he did not expect it to accelerate in a sustained way coming out of the pandemic. As Chairman Powell said, given the number of people who have lost their jobs, the likelihood that some will struggle to find work in the pandemic economy, in the post-pandemic economy, achieving and sustaining maximum employment will require more than supportive monetary policy. It will require a society-wide commitment. Hence, the legislation that our members are working on this week. We hope to finish our markups in committee this week and then send it to the Budget Committee next week for them to work their will on it, then to the Rules Committee, and then to the floor, and we hope to have this all done by the end of February. Certainly, on the president's desk in time to offset the March 14th deadline where some unemployment benefits will expire. I'm particularly interested in how women are affected by the pandemic, but also by this legislation. Over 2.3 million women have been forced to leave the workforce entirely, including 1 million moms. That's why this bill is so important, because it has a strong commitment to child care so that parents, moms and dads, are able to go to work. It has a strong commitment to getting our kids back to school, another path to the workforce for moms. Last month, January, nearly 80% of workers who left the workforce were women, and in December, it was 90% of those who had left the workforce were women. The women's labor force participation rate is now just about 57%, the lowest level in 33 years. For women of color, the situation is even worse. Again, that is about the livelihood of the American people, about the lives of the American people. I talked about 10% unemployment, as quoted by the chairman of the Fed, Chairman Powell. Another number that is just so sobering is 470,000 Americans have died of the coronavirus. 470,000. Again, this legislation that we're passing now so addresses the needs of the American people when it comes to the coronavirus. It's about the lives and the livelihood of the American people. We're proud again of our committee chairs who are moving ahead expeditiously with 9 committees working on marking up legislation for the American Rescue Plan this week. They're moving forward to crush the virus. The funding there for virus production, distribution, for testing, et cetera, for other funding in terms of access to health care. Again, the goal is to put vaccines in people's arms, children back in school, workers back in their jobs, and money in people's pockets. And the money in people's pockets, we're very proud that in the legislation, we in the House, the Education and Labor Committee marked up its bill on Tuesday until 4 a.m. Wednesday morning. Big part of money in people's pockets in the Education and Labor Committee, in addition.
So briefly, what she said in that part and the part before is that they plan to have the third stimulus check package passed before February is over. So I get asked every day, when should we expect the checks? When are they going to pass the bills? That is directly from House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, who is arguably the most powerful Democrat. Well, obviously, she is the most powerful Democrat in the House, not more powerful than President Joe Biden. But she says that they plan to have it passed before the end of February. She also said that the committee she was just talking about passed their bill up until 4 a.m. Remember, they're passing it because of the reconciliation process. They're having these different committees write the bill because it's 5,000 some pages. The previous stimulus check bill was 5,000 pages. And that's what they do. They have their committees of the Democratic Party or of the Republican Party, in this case, the Democratic Party, write the bill because, well, somebody has to write the bill. So they're writing the bill and passing it on the subcommittee level, which basically means that portion of Congress, the Education and Labor Committee, drafted their portion of the bill and already passed it. She said that they passed it until 4 or 5 a.m. in the morning. So they're literally working on this bill day and night and trying to get it pushed through even faster than a lot of people thought.
And the money in people's pockets, we're very proud that in the legislation, we in the House, the Education and Labor Committee marked up its bill on Tuesday until 4 a.m. Wednesday morning. Big part of money in people's pockets in the Education and Labor Committee, in addition to making our schools safe for our children to go back to school. In the bill, it gradually raises the minimum wage to $15 an hour, increases paychecks, and doing so increases paychecks for 27 million workers and pulling nearly 1 million people out of poverty. Well over 50%, closer to 2/3 or 70% of people making the minimum wage are women, many of them women of color. Again, it secures the child tax credits, helping nearly 1 in 3 adults having trouble paying for household expenses and 12 million children from going hungry. So in the legislation, we have the child tax credit. This is quite remarkable, $3,000 for a child, and then they're 6 years and under, it is $3,600. This is pulling these children out of poverty.
So there she's talking about the $3,000 to $3,600 child tax credit that is being expanded and increased to monthly stimulus checks. This has previously been $2,000 and even less before then. They're increasing it now to $3,000 for children ages 6 through 17, and for children under the age of 6, $3,600. And the plan is to disperse this to the parents in a monthly stimulus check. So children ages 6 and over would get $250 per month directly sent to the parents, preferably via direct deposit or check in the mail, which will definitely take longer each month. But they're going to send it directly to you in monthly payments of $250 per month, which is increased. And also for children under the age of 6, $300 per month, which is a total of $3,600 per year.
Rent insecure and the rest. So it's a very important piece of legislation. It is what this country needs, and I salute not only the president and vice president for their leadership in recognizing that in this important work, but also to do so in a way that is robust, meets the needs of the American people, but also meets the needs of the strength of our economy. We plan, as I said, to work on it this week, next week, and have it passed by the end of February, and so we can send it to the president's desk before the unemployment benefits expire. This week, as you know, we have seen, it's been such a sad time for us, but as we see what is being presented, we also see the extraordinary valor of the Capitol Police, who risked and gave their lives to save our Capitol, our democracy, our lives. They were martyrs for our democracy. Martyrs for our democracy, those who lost their lives. That is why I am putting forth a resolution introducing legislation to pay tribute to the Capitol Police and other law enforcement personnel who protected the Capitol by giving them a Congressional Gold Medal, the highest honor that Congress can bestow. The service of the Capitol Police Force that day brings honor to our democracy. Their accepting this reward brings luster to this medal. We must always remember their sacrifice and stay vigilant against what I've said before about what Abraham Lincoln said, the silent artillery of time. We will never forget. We were so moved by having the family give us the honor of honoring Brian Sicknick. Also, the Libin Good family and the Smith family, we share their grief, and we want to recognize the valor of that. And then also, of course, Officer Goodman for his valor. But these are demonstrations of much more bravery throughout the Capitol on that sad day. So we want to honor them in the best way that we possibly can, and we will continue to do so beyond a medal, but in our hearts. So again, we, as the Senate is dealing with its business at hand, I'm so proud of our just overwhelmingly proud of our managers led by Jamie Raskin, but at the same time, we're getting our work done to meet the needs of the American people, to crush the virus, to put our children back in school, money in people's pockets, again, people back to work. The lives and the livelihood of the American people are our responsibility. 470,000 people have died. We have to call a halt to that. Any questions? Missy? Yes, sir.
Will the bill that you send to the Senate have a $15 minimum wage in it?
Yes, it will. It will, yes. We're very proud of that. As I said, 27 million people will get a raise, 70% of them women, and we will be sending that. Yes, sir.
So a couple things to note there. Number one, she said the $15 an hour minimum wage will be in the bill. And two, if you notice that I want to kind of address a lot of people saying the Senate impeachment trial is going to delay the stimulus a lot. The Senate right now really doesn't have very much to do with the third stimulus check package at all because it's being drafted by the House. So the House is drafting the bill. They're going to vote on it, pass it in the House, and then send it to the Senate. So right now, the Senate, with the impeachment going on former President Donald Trump, doesn't really delay the stimulus package very much because, well, the Senate is not the ones producing the third stimulus check bill. And you're just seeing her say that the $15 an hour minimum wage will be included in the third stimulus check package. Now, remember, up until the last minute, any of these things could be changed or amended. So just keep that in mind.
I have not said anything. You haven't heard me talk about impeachment in the past weeks leading up to this. They are making the case. I'm not going to be responding to what happened yesterday or what might happen today. except to salute them for the excellence of what they have presented and how proud we are of them. So I won't be answering any questions.
Can I frame something slightly different? If I can get to the crux of the question, maybe you don't want to talk about it.
Let's hear it, yeah.
But if that doesn't convince Republican senators, 67, what does that say?
Well, you know, again, let's let the presentation work its way out. American people, we're in a court of the Senate right now. We're also in the court of public opinion. We're in the court of our families who will make judgments about us, and we're a court of history. Yes.
Madam Speaker, with so many Republican senators indicating that they're prepared to vote for acquittal, what other avenues of accountability do you think there will be, and would you like to see for former President Trump?
I'm not, as I say, that this pursuit of justice and truth is in the hands of our managers, and I'm not. I will have some things to say maybe next week, but not this week. Let's just see what the case is and what their response is to it. But I'm not acting upon something that hasn't happened yet.
You have mentioned the commission.
Can you address the one argument that many of the Republican senators are already making, and that is that it's not valid to even have this trial because you're dealing with somebody who's a former president, and yet you in the House impeached him while he was still a president. This act occurred while he was still president, but the trial shifted till after he had left the White House. What do you think about that argument of, an impeachment occurring at one point, but now people saying you can't try him because the actual trial didn't take place till afterwards?
Actually, again, this is not into the guts of the trial, but when we passed the article of impeachment, and then we were prepared, actually lined up to take it over to the Senate. We were told early in the day that the Senate, even though they were not in session, could receive the article, and the managers were prepared to take it over. As they were preparing for that, we got word from the Senate that if it's not in session, you cannot bring it over. And so you have to wait until Mitch McConnell decides the Senate will be in session, which put it off until later, until the 19th. And then they decided, well, let's do this or that, and then wait 2 weeks in order to have the trial. So we were ready. They said no. In fact, one of them even said, if you bring it over here and just leave it with the Secretary of the Senate, it could be destroyed. I don't know if that's true. They could just ignore it and say, we weren't here, that we never got it. But it's a little disingenuous to say that. But separate and apart from that, what I just told you is totally unnecessary, because the fact is that the Senate voted and the Constitution allows for someone to be tried after they are no longer in office, or else, as Jamie said, you have a January exception. You got to get out of jail free card, do whatever you want, as long as the Senate is an accomplice in terms of putting it off, you're saved.
So there you go. I will have another update for you guys at 11 p.m. Eastern time tonight in a few hours, or 8 p.m. West Coast time. Real quick, let me update you guys on my doctor's appointment and my back issue. I have a spine defect that I was born with called the pars defect, and I ruptured it about 2 years ago when Julian, our son, was a baby, and he needed to be bounced all the time or else he would cry, and it ruptured my back, and I've been suffering with back pain ever since then. And over the last week, it's gotten really bad. I have pain every day, but it's been particularly bad over the past week. I've had a hard time breathing. When I go up the stairs, I'm like out of breath just from going up the stairs. I have pain going up into my upper back and my shoulder blades, and I have chest pain. So anyways, the doctor, basically, I went to see the doctor today, and I arrived early. And they basically did a battery of tests for me. They did an EKG. That came back fine. Then I had to go to another location and get a CT with contrast. That was fun. It's yeah. If you've ever had a CT with contrast, it makes you feel like you're peeing. But yeah. And then I have to call for, let me see what I got here. I need to do a cardiac stress test and an MRI cervical without contrast. I still need to call and do that. So far, from the preliminary results I've got, I seem okay. I didn't have a heart attack or anything like that. They actually held me there after the CT and wouldn't let me go until they got the initial results back that said I was fine to leave. So I didn't expect anything like that. But I will let you know what other results I get, and I have to schedule these other two tests. Um, but yeah, I mean, he did order me steroids and a muscle relaxer, so I will be going on those. I haven't picked those up yet. Had to come home, eat, and then film for you guys. But yeah, and there's a lot more news and stimulus that I'll have for you guys at 11 p.m. But basically, and yeah, when I go on steroids, my face will be very red. If you notice, my face is just red sometimes in the wintertime, because basically I've turned into a ghost. I haven't seen the sun in months here in Ohio. It's just winter outside every day, cold, and there's not much to do besides film videos and spend time with Laurel and Julie, and that's about it. Yeah, Laurel says she's more ghostly than me. She's a white ghost over there. But yeah, these steroids and typically in the past make my face very red. So be prepared for seeing Santa every day. But yeah, I will let you know what happens as I get more results and I take these other tests. But don't forget to tune into the 11 p.m. video tonight. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe down below so you don't miss out on new videos on the third stimulus check update and the other things we cover: student loan forgiveness, mortgage and rental assistance, Social Security increases, these $3,000 child tax credits that are turning into stimulus checks. We cover it all here for you guys, and I will bring you the latest news. You can click this top video here to watch my newest stimulus check video next. And this video teaches you how to start your own business selling products on Amazon FBA. I have dozens of students that have replaced their 9-to-5 income selling products on Amazon, and I teach them how to do that. Click on one of those videos to watch them next. Thanks, guys, and I will see you in the next video.